Hi everyone, I'm Ian Hughes, Director of Feeding Age Limited, and I'm a Metaverse Evangelist. I'm also known as ePredator online. Metaverse Evangelist means that I live and work online and help people come to terms and understand what's going on with virtual worlds and what's going on with augmented reality. So I'm already here at your presentation in an augmented form. This is just a digital representation of me being projected through video onto the screen. And it's interesting that whilst I'm time shifting my presence with you, and thank you for letting me come and speak to you, I'm also going to be able to see and hear what's going on at your conference, because many of you will probably be choosing to use Twitter or many of the other social networks to try and explain to people what's going on whilst you're listening to the speakers, whilst there's activity going on. And I'll be able to see that and see where it's positioned on the planet, because many of you will be geotagging the things that you're using. So it will tell me where you are, and when you said it. And that's a very interesting change in the way people choose to communicate. For years we've had augmented reality of various sorts. We've had maps, for instance, paper maps. They're distributed through a network. The provider creates the map, the shop provides the map, you buy the map, you carry it around with you. But recently, of course, we've ended up with electronic devices that let us get to maps on the network. So we get to things like Google Maps or any of the other mapping providers. That lets us get to information really, really quickly, but that's still very broadcast-based information. And broadcast is how we've accepted all forms of communication for many millennia almost, all the way back to cave paintings. Somebody produces it, we sit and consume it, that's it. We may comment on it afterwards, we may tell our friends, but the important thing now is we have a back channel, an extra channel, where we get to communicate back what's going on. So for instance, if you take one of these, not only does it get the map, it also knows where it is. And it knows which way it's facing, and hence which way I'm facing. So not only is it able to adjust the information it's going to give to me, but it's able to tell other people what I'm seeing and what I'm doing. This leads us to a huge revolution in being able to combine different pieces of information. It doesn't just have to be the physical. We already augment our reality in all sorts of ways, as not just maps. If you drive a car, you look at the speedometer, it's instrumenting things about how your car is moving and things about the environment that you can't perceive quite so well or quite so accurately as a human, and it's turned into a little dial. Of course, now we're able to augment that view with the speed that other cars are doing and other people are doing. So other things from the physical world are instrumented and combined into our view, so we get traffic information. We get things that help us go about our daily lives. But equally, we can live and work online and embed ourselves in other virtual worlds and other places and other social networks. And there is no reason that any of those social networks can't be augmented by one another. There is no reason that Second Life can't have Habbo Hotel in it. There is no reason that when I'm in an environment such as sitting outside here, that I can't observe tweets or Flickr photos or any other piece of information that people are creating live on a network around me. It doesn't mean that they have to have happened near me, but it does mean that I can combine streams of information and I can communicate back to those streams of information and adjust them accordingly. And it's a fascinating change. And the way that the world is moving so that we can contribute, we can share, we can give information to one another, communities can form around the slightest thing, the slightest idea, the slightest notion that you're sitting here going, hey, I've got a good idea. Next thing you know, you can be surrounded by information. You can be surrounded by people conversing with you. You can be surrounded by content and creating content on the fly. It's a very important step. But an even more important step is that we don't just have to augment with purely digital information. We don't just have to layer one video on top of another. We don't just have to combine those things. We're now at a point where we can take digital information and make it physical again. So we're into the realm of 3D printing. And 3D printing is not science fiction. 3D printing already exists and is becoming incredibly cheap. It makes digital models into physical items. So it means that I can sit here, I can print and augment my reality with a physical thing that has come from your reality that you've delivered from somewhere across the planet. It's an incredible change.